Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Also below this video, you can get £50 for swapping your UK electricity supplier to Octopus Energy, and this is of particular note if you drive an electric vehicle. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. Now we are joined by Arwin, 10th Man, Refracted Curvature, Neil, Eli, and a whole bunch of people in Discord, so welcome one and all.
Hello, hello.
About time.
Good morning.
Good morning. We all doing well? I'm not. Everything's going wrong. But it's all good. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere-edge horizon, formerly known as the curve of the Earth?
No, the curvature's gone. The very thing they said proved that the horizon, they don't even use that anymore. They gave up.
That's not true. They used it yesterday.
What's going on for horizons?
Hello, Domino's Pizza. Can I take your order?
If the horizon was Earth curved, you couldn't measure an angle from the surface of Earth.
Yeah, you need a flat baseline to acquire an elevation angle in the first instance. Earth must be flat. Any evidence that you can acquire an elevation angle from a curved adjacent?
Let me give you my answer that was said to me yesterday. Why would I want to?
To assert that the Earth's a sphere.
To find your way around on it.
I'm talking to a guy right now who asked for the best evidence that the globe model is incorrect, and he would pay out $10,000. And I said the horizon. He said, what about it? I said it's not geometric. He said, what do you mean? I gave him a screenshot of what the definition of the horizon and the calculation to the distance to the horizon as a consequence of us living on a sphere with a radius of 3,959 miles. And he said, what does it mean exactly? Why are you offering up money to debunk something and you don't understand the fundamental claims of said thing?
Does this surprise you, Eli?
No.
Well, you know, it may be even a better debunking to know that if the horizon was Earth curved, then you couldn't measure an angle from the surface of Earth.
Yeah.
Because and, you know, nothing against the Black Swan, because it's a great globe debunking, but, you know, for the measurement to be taken, Earth has to be flat.
Yeah, but Eli has the Black Swan down now. I remember, I'm not knocking you, Eli, but I remember a few months ago, you were stumbling around 24/7 trying to, you know, explain the Black Swan. So you really impressed me with that now.
I don't believe you, but okay.
Fair
It's
enough.
about 6 months ago, bro. You did. It was on 24/7.
No.
Maybe people
I've
were
been talking
rumpusing
about the
you.
Black Swan for almost 2 years.
No. What
Maybe.
Neil is referencing, Eli, is your constant effort to reword what you already know in order to give them no way out. As you heard all the responses from them, you brought that in and rethought it the way they are thinking. So you knew it, but now you're trying to deliver it in the way that they're thinking, and that's why you polished up.
It was a Saturday morning.
I'm
There was a lot of rumpus.
I'm the reason they all abandoned the geometric horizon, because if you listen to the argument, it's non sequitur, because their argument is that actually they're looking at something that isn't visibly or that isn't physically there. So that they created a new, well, it's not even a tangent. I don't know. The bottom line is basically they admitted that they're not talking about the geometric horizon. Ultimately, you're seeing further because, well, refraction and blah, 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 which has nothing to do with not seeing the geometric horizon at all.
It's a thought experiment.
Seeing further.
Well, if
Eli.
you have something in front of you and it's obstructing what's beyond, that's it. And so that was supposed to be what the horizon is, and it's not that.
Right, Eli. And so what they have is a thought experiment.
Maybe I got the wrong guy.
They didn't put a lot of thought into that experiment.
Okay, any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
Negative.
Well, according to Neil deGrasse Tyson, a football experienced it.
The apparent motion of the stars.
Anybody going to address that? Or is that being left open for me to address?
Sure, baby.
I don't like Coriolis effect. If Earth was turning underneath a football, as asserted by Neil deGrasse Tyson, then it would also turn underneath the blimp that was filming the game, and a hot air balloon, and a drone, and an aeroplane, and anything that leaves the claim to be non-inertial turning reference frame of a turning Earth. For you to observe from that claim to be turning Earth an effect known as Coriolis. That effect would be the object seeming to drift away from you because you're turning beneath it. So, for us to observe the effect as per Neil deGrasse Tyson's description of a ball seeming to curve as you observe it from the stand because Earth's turning beneath it, then we'd need to see Earth turning beneath hot air balloons, aeroplanes, etc., etc., etc. Now, if your turning Earth is turning beneath an aeroplane, then a flight from Charlotte, North Carolina to Los Angeles would only take an hour and a half because you're observing it from the ground seem to drift because Earth's turning underneath it. So if Earth's turning underneath it, it would shorten the flight time. It doesn't. We don't observe this effect. Nothing's drifting. We don't have Earth-based Coriolis effect. We'd have to have it if we were turning. Go ahead.
Correct.
But we have something new, a new word, Neil's description.
Eli, is that 10,000 still available?
Well, he has to understand geometry first.
Speaking of which, can you have Earth turn without a radius?
No.
Okay, you'll need R for that, and they'll need a flat plane to get it. Any evidence of the R value, Earth radius?
I think they claim the angle measurements taken from a flat plane are proof of its radius, if you can make sense of that.
Yeah, that just proves that Earth's a flat plane, doesn't it? Proves that you can use the fact that Earth's a flat plane to derive the idea and notion and philosophy that Earth's a sphere, if you've got a flat plane to measure in the first place to assert it.
Well, if you had a radius, you'd have an arc on the surface if this was a sphere. Since we don't experience any arc lengths or arc blockage on the surface, then no, we're not a sphere with a radius because there's no R value. It's not where it should be. If we were, it should be where it's supposed to be, as Eli says, but it's not there.
And if it was where it was supposed to be because of the model, then we wouldn't be able to measure the elevation angles to assert the model.
Exactly.
Wow, how things have turned around.
Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
I've heard
What is
people
the
say it's
sun?
90.
John first. Go ahead, John.
I've heard people say it's 93 million miles away.
They'll need R to assert that. They'll need to assume Earth's a sphere to assert that. They'll need to assume that Venus is the same size as Earth and apply Kepler's third law to give them the scaling values to decide, based on Earth and Venus having the same radius value derived from a flat plane, that they've got a 93 million mile sun.
So if they
What's
need-
93 million miles away?
So if they need R, but they don't have R, then yeah, there's no distance to the sun that based on R, that is.
I mean, you can assert that they've got a 93 million mile sun in a heliocentric model if you accept that Earth is a flat plane to derive an angle measurement to infer that the philosophy of a sphere Earth can give you that distance. You'll need a flat plane for it, in other words. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Well, if you accept the other stuff is true, then that doesn't seem as bad, does it?
Which other stuff would that be?
All the other housekeeping questions that are self-contradictory, as if you believe in a sphere, if you accept all those contradictions, then believing that a self-perpetuating molten iron core isn't a step too far for you.
It isn't a step too far if you assume that the sky is a vacuum and the Earth is a sphere and the radius value of Venus is the same as the presupposed radius value of Earth when derived from a flat plane. If you can accept all of those things, you're saying it's not too far or too big a stretch to accept that there's a molten iron core at the centre of all those presuppositions. It's not that big a stretch.
Right. It's nonsensical. I mean, you're already in nonsense. You might as well finish it off.
I see. I mean, that's one way of looking at it, I suppose.
The whole core was molten back when the Earth was formed about 4.5 billion years ago. Don't you understand this? The slow cooling of our planet causes the molten iron in the outer core to flow and swirl fast as heat is transported to the mantle. And this gives Earth its magnetic field. It's right there. I'm reading it. Come on, guys.
And that's validated by what?
The citation. that
Oh,
you
the
just read.
citation, it just backs the idea and notion just by writing down that we've got a molten iron core and that the heat's self-perpetuating and pushing up to the mantle for its magnetic properties to be exhibited on the surface, because they made it up themselves. No justification for why they're saying it, it's just that's how it is, according to them, right?
Do you see any other evidence of it?
I don't see any evidence of it. Moving on. Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon? Wow, keen lot. From yesterday's super enthusiastic, very shareable show to this. I don't know what's going on. Is it 'cause
Gradient pressure.
where do I
Gradient
get
pressure.
from pressing on things?
Well, they assert gradient pressure is caused by gravity and everything being pulled to the center of Earth.
Gravity is a downward vector when they're asserting it in that frame of reference. So they're saying gas goes down. Gravity is down. No, gas does not go down, go boom boom, like solid bonded bouncy balls passing through air. Gas expands in all directions, all vectors.
I guess you need a container then.
Yeah, you can't have gas pressure without a container. If the sky was a vacuum, then the gas we're breathing would fill that space. Further to that, we wouldn't have ever achieved gas pressure in the first place based on the heliocentric idea of a sky vacuum. Gas would expand out from the surface into the space and never return. We'd never achieve gas pressure in the heliocentric model. Any scientific evidence of gravity, as you mentioned it?
No, there's no such thing.
Well, Well, if you believe there's a phenomenon of gas falling down, and then you manipulate entropy in such a way that it appears as if a denser gas is going down, then can't you assert that as down?
No. Gas still expands in all directions or vectors.
The only reason gravity even exists for the heliocentric model is because of the globe. How is everything staying on a globe, spinning in those various ways through second law violation called space, a vacuum. So how's everything staying on there? They need an invisible force of some kind. It's never been detected. You can't measure it. It's not, its density, and things heavier in the medium of air will fall down. Things lighter will rise up like a helium balloon. And that's because we've got gas pressure within a container.
About any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
I still haven't heard from Dr. Becky. I don't think I'm going to hear from her. Neil's reached out to Neil deGrasse Tyson. I doubt he's going to hear from him. They have only observations and nothing else.
Shout out to Fibrotes for smashing the super chat. Just bring it up on screen. If gravity did exist in the way we are told, shouldn't the moon smash into Earth? What about Mercury and the sun? Where do I begin, Fibrotes? If you want to assume that the lights in the sky have got a physical property to them and they're in an orbital motion around the sun, then you've already got problems. You know what I mean? Further to that, for that motion to be true in that rhetoric, you've got to have a sky vacuum. So you're saying when you beg the question of a second law of thermodynamics sky vacuum and orbital motion, with us moving as a sphere that was derived from a flat plane angle measurement, then why aren't the moon and Earth colliding with one another? I think you can see the problem. I think we've covered all the housekeeping questions, have we not?
Yeah, I had to step away, but sounds good. Well,
Now, if you believe in a globe, all you have to do is go to anti-flat Earth channel and preach about how we are a bunch of idiots and we don't understand.
That's what they do.
yeah,
Okay.
but the only people going there are people who think a 90-degree triangle, right angle, has a bulgy bottom.
And Neil.
And you know,
I go there to see what they're saying.
Why?
why?
So I could bring it here, since they don't want to come here.
So on the one hand, I'm very grateful because it's nice to be kept abreast of what's going on. Obviously, it's the topic we're covering. But when I say there's no need for you to do that, Neil.
They should not be allowed to get away with stating their nonsense when we have fact over here, when we're proving things over here, and it's just they go on their show and say, like, la, 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 whatever they said goes out the window.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to take a stand.
Why?
Neil, they need that place to get away from the pressure that the truth puts on them. So they need a place they can go and vent and do their thing. Allow them this space, or they can't cope with reality. Don't
Okay.
worry about them.
Small potatoes, Neil. There's a group of people, the higher-ups, shall we say, and many of them are part of the designated religious, and I'm saying designated as in the mainstream definition of designated religious aspect of heliocentrism. That would be Scientology. Now, plenty of influencers and so on and so forth are part of that religion, which is what it is. But that religion, with all of those heavy hitters and influencers, isn't something that you're going after. You're not penetrating the circles of Scientology to try and make them understand that we've got demonstrable evidence that debunks their religious belief, which is based in heliocentrism. So what I'm trying to get at is that yesterday I think it was, I was saying, we're in a very tiny corner of the internet, and that it used to be the case that the minority of us was anti-flat earthers. Now it's flipped the other way round, so that they take up the lion's share of this tiny corner of the internet, Neil. But as I say, there's a bigger subset of religious people, defined that way by mainstream, who are very literally promoting the religious virtues of the philosophy of heliocentrism. They're called Scientologists. So given that they have a lot more influence than the clown show people that you visit, why aren't you, going after them? It's a better analogy than saying, why aren't you going after ghosts when we can show that they're not true, for the sake of comparison. In this case, it's directly linked. Scientologists are very literally a religious arm of heliocentrists. Why aren't you going after them?
Why do I have to?
Because they are, didn't I just explain this 25 seconds ago? Because they're much more influential and disseminating the philosophy that we brace against here, that would be heliocentrism, in a religious way. But it's very much part of the exact same rhetoric. Scientology is based in heliocentrism, so you've got something to challenge them on, and they're much more influential. So I'm saying, if you're going to waste your energy, because I see that as an equal waste of energy, but why not waste it on somebody that's got a much more powerful influence over the Western world in general? Scientologists have got a high profile.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I do. I find some things, and I go in a chat on NASA shows, and if I could find a Scientology show, I will. But these are people that directly come against us. And it's like saying 2 + 2 is 10. All right, so let it go. They need to be there. Let them have their belief that 2 and 2 is 10.
Yeah, I agree.
How does it frustrate you guys? I don't understand.
Yeah, I agree with that. I know you're saying in sarcastic tones. I totally agree. Yeah, let them. What possible influence do they have over you unless you interact with them?
Yeah, you're just letting them define themselves as your enemy at that point, right?
Maybe I'm not explaining myself correctly.
Well, try harder.
We have a certain standard here. Everything we bring here cannot be debunked. Otherwise, they would answer our housekeeping questions. And it's like they're not even hearing us. How does this not frustrate anybody? Why am I the only one getting frustrated with this?
Answers on a postcard to P.O. Box I Couldn't Care Less.
But if you let those people define themselves as your enemy by actually paying attention to them, right, then aren't you kind of putting them up there as if they should be listened to, as if you actually are concerned with what they're saying?
I give up.
Don't give up. Just try and fight your position. Try and put it in. I know it's hard to explain because you're saying...
No, I give up. You just don't understand. We'll just keep going, and we'll be another 10 freaking years here.
What I'm saying is, if you address the trolls, all you'll ever do is address the trolls.
You wrestle with a pig, you're going to get dirty, and the pig likes it.
Well, like I say, I only go in there for about a minute or two to see what they're talking about. And it frustrates me to the point where I don't stay in there. But Chris Berry was in there yesterday. He was arguing his pictures and how much disappears and how much doesn't disappear and why. I thought we debunked that a long time ago, but anyway.
You want a L. Ron Hubbard quote on Scientology, Nathan?
Sure.
It's a Master B. Let me know when it's up on the screen.
It doesn't look like it's come through. If you can just quote it, that'd be brilliant. I can't put it up, unfortunately.
It's not coming through? I show it on mine.
Yeah, I know. Don't worry. If you can just...
Okay. Here we go. This is part of many things he said. The head of the Galactic Federation, 76 planets around larger stars visible from here, founded 95 million years ago. Very space opera, solved overpopulation, 250 billion or so per planet, 178 billion on average by mass implanting. He caused people to be brought to Tegek, Earth, and put H-bomb on the principal volcanoes in Incident 2. And then the Pacific area ones were taken in boxes to Hawaii and the Atlantic area, ones to Las Palmas, and there packaged. His name was Zeno. He used renegades, various misleading data by means of circuits, etc., was placed in the unplants when through with his crime, loyal officers to the people captured him after 6 years of battle and put him into electronic mountain trap where he still is. They are gone. The place, Confederation, has since been a desert. The lengthy and brutal of it all was such that the Confederation was never recovered. The implant is calculated to kill by pneumonia, etc., anyone who attempts to solve it. This liability has been dispensed with by my tech development. One can freewheel through the implant and die unless it is approached as precisely outlined. The freewheel, auto running on and on, lasts too long, denies sleep, etc., and one dies. So be careful to do only incidents 1 and 2 is given and not plow around and fail to complete one teton at a time. In December 1967, I know someone had to take the plunge. I did and emerged very knocked out, but alive. Probably the only one ever to do so in 75 million years. I have all the data now, but only that given here is needful.
Wow. Obviously all tied up in heliocentric rhetoric. I don't want to hear about the parallels to the most recent events that have happened through 2020.
Oh, Virus is here.
Is he?
Doesn't he have to come in with something? Wasn't he supposed to be here Monday?
No.
Didn't he challenge 10th or something?
No, I posted something in chat and I said, how did you ever get a baseline from a curved surface, proto? And Virus jumped in. He said, it's not hard 10th. And then I said, Virus, see you Monday on the live show. This is your time to shine. See you then, thumbs up. So tell us how that's done, Virus.
He's not in voice chat.
No, I was going to say he's not here.
Well, he should be here. It's Tuesday.
Should he be?
He's on the YouTube chat.
No obligation. No obligation.
When you claim you could do something and say that's easy, 10th, then get here and back it up. I don't want to hear talk no more.
I bet you $10 he's going to try to wedge in a geometric horizon in this if he tries.
Forget that. Neil should be a boxing promoter.
No, because he's not the best. I want the best to fight the best. I want Neil deGrasse Tyson on this show, going head to head with Nathan, QE, or, even you, 10th. That's the best against the best.
Never going to happen.
Akumu Virus is amateur.
What makes you think Neil deGrasse Tyson would be the best person to oppose us? They wouldn't. They'd die on their ass very quickly.
Well, the best in their area, right? They hold him as the champion, right?
No, he's a priest of heliocentric rhetoric. So, in the case of the Coriolis argument, which we detailed earlier, he has to stick to the rhetoric. Your faceless, nameless potato who comes here, they don't have to stick to the rhetoric. They can completely contradict the rhetoric that the globe lays down. Simon Dan, for example, you and your reference frames are ruined. Which ones? The ones that the globe claims to prove drift. Neil deGrasse Tyson's claiming them. 2 reference frames. Earth turning under the football. That's his claim. Because he's made the claim, you can tie him down to it very quickly, because it is heliocentric rhetoric, unlike the anti-flat Earth, anti-globe rhetoric that we have to deal with. Well, we wouldn't expect to see it drifting, says an anti-flat earther. You're never going to hear Neil deGrasse Tyson doing that, which means he isn't competent to face us in debate. They need opponents for us that can deviate from the heliocentric rhetoric in order to get around an argument that we've posed to them. It doesn't matter that they're relinquishing the argument in the first instance if it's some faceless potato. It matters greatly if it's Neil deGrasse Tyson, so he can't do that. Hence, I say he would die on his arse very quickly as soon as he got here. Because he'd have to stick to the rhetoric, and you go, okay, so Earth's turning under the football, Mr. deGrasse Tyson? Yes, it is. That's why we see the drift. Here's my calculation for how much it drifted from the stands as you watched it curve through the goal. I see. Now calculate the exact same drift for the blimp filming the game. What's he going to say? Oh, well, there isn't any. Well, that completely contradicts your nonsense about the ball now, doesn't it, Mr. Tyson? Where's he going to go? Nowhere is the answer, unless he starts lying, which he can't.
Then you would. It doesn't matter. You have weight divisions and you have WBA, WBC. The champion of the WBC could have fought a bunch of chumps to become 30-0, but he's still 30-0. And the guy in the WBC could be fought the best of the best. He's 30-0. Them two got to meet.
Yeah,
That's why this English guy is such a good promoter. Eddie Hearn. He's putting the best against the best.
Okay, well, he's not a boxer, right? So we're talking about something completely different on a completely different, non-comparable level to boxing and weights. It's very different. Let me just read out Fiber Otis' super chat and then we'll get back to this, Neil. This show has helped me get through some serious cognitive dissonance, although I know none of you personally. I find myself thinking what I would have done without discovering this show. Wow, what a fantastic super chat. Thank you very much for the sentiment and, of course, for the support, Fiber Oats. Really do appreciate it. So, no, we're not boxers, and if you did compare us, comparatively, it'd be like saying Neil deGrasse Tyson's a boxer, and what we have to contend with here is highly trained ninjas. You know, it's a totally different
Mixed martial
thing.
arts. I got you.
Ninjas that are prepared to stick their knife in their own chest if need be.
Which we would never have to do.
Metaphorically
They definitely
speaking,
blocking punches.
globe foo or whatever we've been calling it.
Ball foo. Ball foo.
Ball foo, right? The art of smashing yourself in the face as an argument, as an opener. Like saying, I'll delete my channel if someone can show how a two-dimensional area of equal elevation is flat.
Yeah, everybody was ball foo fighting, and they stabbed themselves because they're a bunch of assorted characters.
Y'all are confusing ball jitsu with the ball foo fallacy.
It's
Yes,
close
we are.
enough.
Can you lay it both out while I let Adam in?
Well, the ball foo fallacy is what I call the fallacy that started the globe. Because if you're a heliocentrist, you're a flat earther first. Which, yeah, if you can reconcile that in your mind, you're doing great. But the ball jitsu is the art of taking punishment for your belief.
Hey, Adam.
Afternoon, guys.
Show's running red hot today.
Look like it was running late. I'm running well late with everything today, but
No, I mean red hot because when I started the live show, it said, no, we're not going to let you render this show through your graphics card. Doesn't work because I've updated OBS. Obviously, fantastic update. So I've had to change it to render everything through the CPU, which means that the CPU is now doing everything, which isn't good. But there we go. Hopefully it'll function till the end of the live show, which will end early today because I started late.
glowing like yesterday's speakers.
Pardon?
Was it on fire like yesterday's speaker story?
No, not like that. As in, just I've got a very hot CPU.
Is it on fire like the sun?
I don't know that the sun is on fire.
It is.
Because you say so.
Because I just made a, you know.
Don't you need oxygen for something to combust?
Hold on, he's not claiming a heliocentric sun in a vacuum. He's just saying it's fire.
No, that's what I was thinking about. I was thinking about the burning ball of gas plasma that is the sun and the heliocentric model with the vacuum of space and the Big Bang beginning.
Oh, I see. Then Adam can rip you a new one if he wishes in a moment after I shout out Godzilla 37. I'm going to try and sneak this under the wire just to see if Nathan will catch it in time. Oh, and support the show. Thank you very much indeed, Godzilla. I definitely caught it. No, it's second law of thermodynamics violation. That was going to be Adam's point, and I said that you weren't suggesting the heliocentric sun burning in a sky vacuum. But you were, on their behalf.
Oh, poo. I guess I have to find better things to compare.
We have a date, Nathan, for not virus. I guess still virus, waiting for him to come on. Eli's going to interview on Sunday on the Discord channel.
Gleam says, make sure your graphics card drivers are up to date. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do later on, Gleam. Thank you for suggesting it. It's what OBS said. Your drivers aren't up to date. But it's like, well, I haven't changed anything except OBS. But obviously OBS, when it's updated, needs new drivers, so I'll update my graphics card, and hopefully that'll resolve the problem. But yeah, I do appreciate you suggesting it, even though we're live, and I don't necessarily enjoy talking technical, but I do want the show continuing without my PC setting on fire.
Did you catch that?
You mean like the roof?
You wanna? 10th man just said when he's
Sorry.
gonna be interviewed by Eli.
Eli went immediately on mute.
No. It's
Oh,
Sunday.
no, because I was doing the joke. Sorry, 10th. I said he said he doesn't want his CPU to be on fire. I'm like, you mean like the roof? But anyway, Sunday, yes. 10th and I are gonna have an interview style conversation over at 24/7. All are welcome, but you're not welcome to talk. Shut your mouth. Take in the information and ask questions after. Thank you.
Very good. Look forward to it. Adam, are you there?
Yes, sir. I keep diving in and out because I'm at the shop, I'm afraid. So
Oh, okay. I may not ask you the question then. I just wanted to get your reaction. I don't know if it might be a one-word reaction if I bring it up and play it for the audience's benefit also. Can you react to something with a few words if I play it? I'm pretty sure you may.
Sounds like someone will come in a second, but yeah, go on.
Okay, let's see if I can dig it out. I'm causing dead air by doing this, of course.
Do 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 do.
Here we go.
If you do find me a citation that says everywhere inside of a circle of equal altitude is flat and level, I'll delete my channel. And I'll also delete Simon Dan's channel.
Wait, what?
By doing.
You hear that?
Mm-hmm. Where do you go? Desperation, as if you want a one-word answer. If that's really where we've resorted to, that the nature of the earth, the things that are worth arguing is that. They've got nothing within the actual argument. They've just, same last week, nuances. Find me a citation where it specifically says this, even though it's implicitly obvious from the description, so there would be no point to re-clarify that point.
Okay, that's the bit I want you to focus on as a mathematician. Why is it implicitly obvious from the description?
It's a circle of equal altitude. It's a circle, told you. It's a circle.
Yeah, the clip
Because
I just
it's
noticed
not
that
a cone.
while he grabs that phone call.
I've got it.
I just noticed that at the end of the clip that Mitch sent. I'll just play it through again. Hold on.
If you do find me a citation that says everywhere inside of a circle of equal altitude is flat and level, I'll delete my channel. And I'll also delete Simon Dan's channel.
Wait, what?
By doing.
It's
Go on, Adam.
It's
Wait,
not
what?
implicitly obvious. It's like saying, find me a citation that states that a circle is round. We're talking about a two-dimensional shape. It's implicit from the description of what you're describing. A circle, its interior surface area will be flat. It's a two-dimensional shape. Can only be that, can't it?
Well, it wouldn't shock me, other than the fact that the two words that come after circle, which are no 3 words. Brian, 4 words. If I could count how many words. Circle of equal elevation. It's clarifying it. What type of circle? A circle that's got the same elevation all over?
The equal elevation places it onto the Earth. And the simple fact that they're saying circle, we all know what a circle is. It's two-dimensional, drawn on a flat plane. We understand what a circle is. There's no need to describe circle, is there? And therefore there's no need to describe the other bit, because it's from your basic understanding of geometry, you understand what a circle is. You understand what a triangle is. You don't try to put a third dimension into a triangle, do you?
If it wasn't for the fact that I know that this is the kind of mentality that we deal with, I would assume that this was just done purely for publicity. In other words, you put out that you'll delete your channel if someone can show that a two-dimensional object that is inherently flat is flat. That, to me, strikes as being just a publicity stunt. We'll be talking about him, therefore that's good, right? But then I know what we're actually up against. I know what these people are like. They do actually think they've got a point with this, I assume, based on past experience. Just quick shout out to Chief Brody, or Chef Brody. Is it Chef? Chef Brody. Here you go, Nathan, for a fan for your CPU. Thank you very much indeed.
Steven Seagal?
Pardon?
Chef Brody's Steven Seagal, isn't it?
In Under Siege?
No, Chief Brody's in Jaws.
It was Chef Brody.
He's not an ordinary chef.
Here we go.
We know that.
Shout out to Goldie McKinnon. Love starting my day with your shows. Big love from South Florida. Oh, thank you very much.
Well, isn't it easier to talk about the semantics of the word circle than address how you have an angle from a curved adjacent?
Exactly. It's much easier, as Adam pointed out, to argue about some minutiae that's nonsensical than to address the fact that you need a flat plane to gain an elevation angle measurement. Earth must be flat to claim you're on a sphere.
By the way, it's Chief Brody.
Chief Brody.
Read. That's the way it's spelled. Chief Brody. And he was the chief in Jaws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and whatever else.
Brilliant. Chief Brody. Is that it? So yeah, you need a flat Earth to make these claims. We're pointing it out on a daily basis now. To assert that you've got a radius value, to measure elevation angles, to Polaris, to derive sphericity, you need to start by measuring flat Earth elevation angles. What's that you say? Find a citation to prove that a circle is a circle and flat when it's a two-dimensional object, and the qualifier is an area of equal altitude, meaning it's the same altitude all over the circle, which is 2D. We need to prove that that's actually flat. No. You need to demonstrate how you can acquire an elevation angle if the ground you're standing on is curving away from you to a geometric horizon we debunked with the black swan. That's the actual argument.
Do you remember when Brian was talking to Proto and had this question directly at Proto Thad, and Proto answered that the radius would go through the Earth at that time? And so this is the situation here. So if you take that one guy who came in with the orange and he put different size glasses over the orange and took a permanent marker and made circles around an orange and say, see, this is a circle of equal altitude. Then when Proto comes in, he says, because Brian says, well, it's got a radius and that's got to be a straight line because all radius lines are straight. And then Proto said, yeah, it goes through the Earth. Oh, really? Now we got a bigger problem because now your circle is 2D. It has to go through the Earth, slicing part of the cone, the top part of the Earth off, and all your distances will be off because the arc length is different than a straight length any day.
Yeah, but they have more of a chance to delude the conversation there, though, don't they?
Yeah, that's all it is. It's an attempt to dilute the conversation into obscurity.
Yeah, I just want to point out to the audience that in order for them, for their circle of equal altitude, it can't work on that bulgy ball of theirs. It has to go through it. And that's not the way it's described in the navigation books.
No, I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying that the reason he takes it there is because he doesn't have an answer to the first question.
Yeah, how can you acquire an elevation angle off a curved surface or with a curved adjacent? Well, you can't. So challenge us to find a citation for a 2D circle not being flat. Because
right, but
what else are you going to do?
That being said, and that's true, John, they have to now say something else. And in saying something else, they bury themselves deeper, is all I'm saying.
But I'm saying that's the point, is if they can get it further away from the point that they conceded the argument and continue to argue over nonsense.
Agreed.
You know,
totally
that's
agree. It's a tactic. I get it.
Yes, but if you hear that, if you're an outsider and you come along to Craig's channel and you hear him laying down this challenge and you go, oh, this should be interesting. And the challenge comes and you're like, okay, what you're saying is your opponents need to prove that a 2D circle is flat. And that proves we're on a sphere Earth radius 3959 because this is a really important point, because this proves what exactly? That you'll delete your channel if someone can show you that a 2D circle's flat. Wow. What exactly are you trying to achieve with this? Other than leaving a route in to lie about deleting your channel when someone proves you completely idiotic, as we're doing daily. He's not going to delete his channel. But that's presumably the other reason he's done it in that method. So you've got two things for people to focus on that aren't the argument. Whether or not he'll delete his channel and whether or not a circle's flat or not. It's crap. They've got no rebuttal. They have to concede the argument. They have to concede how an elevation angle is measured by way of what an elevation angle is defined as. So far, we're yet to have somebody define what an elevation angle is when asked.
Yeah, it's a measurement up from the horizontal.
If you're watching this live,
now.
if you're fair enough, you've cited something, or you may cite something to back that. If you're in the comments and you're watching this after the fact, so not live, because I don't think you can comment while we're live. You might be able to, I don't know. But go and look it up. Type it into Google. Type in elevation angle. And just cut and paste what you get into the comment section. I just want to see what people come up with. I've got about 10 of them that I just went and rattled off when this argument first started. But I'd like to see what people post in the comment section. Just go and do it. Just Google search elevation angle measurement and see what you can come back with. And just put quotation marks around it. Say where you've got it from, if you can be bothered. I don't mind if you don't, but ideally put quotation marks around it so you can see that it's not you saying it, it's you quoting it from a particular source. And yeah, just cite it. Let's see what we come up with, because so far our opponents are scared of citing what an elevation angle is. That's a fact. Why? Well, because it proves Earth's flat. And the measurement defines Earth as what it is, because it couldn't be any other way to get this measurement that they then use to make Earth a sphere. So yeah, leave it in the comments. I'd appreciate to see what people come up with. Probably exactly what I've got already, but it'd be nice to see if there's some new ones. Plus, it'll trigger fundies. Just doing that little Google search and posting it as a comment will trigger a lot of anti-flat earthers. You'll see when you get a bazillion responses, because the citation itself proves Earth's flat, and they won't like it. And they'll start arguing against the citations, I absolutely assure you, below, with red herrings and obfuscations and details of how we're stupid and don't understand, with a lengthy explanation about doing it on a flat plane, which I've got multiple times so far. I go through these long comments that people use. You don't understand how it's using a sphere. And then they give you a lengthy explanation, and about halfway through it'll describe measuring the elevation angle. So you just take that bit, put it in quotes, and go, you'll need a flat plane for that. Can't get an elevation angle from a curved surface.
Yeah, halfway through they'll start agreeing with us.
Yeah, basically. They have to concede the point, and when they go and get citations, it's going to say the same thing we're presenting here, because that's where they get them from. They're all globe Earth citations that we've been using. So when they detail getting 90 below the star, that means you've got a flat plane to get that. And they'll all cite them. They'll cite them without realising that they're proving a flat plane in their own citations. It's hilarious.
Well, Tech Man said from the beginning he's getting all of this from their books. Their books of what do you call
Navigation.
Navigation, yeah.
Astro.
It's all their books. We didn't write any
Valgage.
books.
Elevation angle. The elevation angle, used interchangeably with altitude angle, is the angular height of the sun in the sky measured from the horizontal.
It's flat.
Confusingly, I'm not done yet. Confusingly, both altitude and elevation are also used to describe the height in meters above sea level. The elevation is at 0 degrees at sunrise and 90 degrees when the sun is directly overhead, which occurs, for example, at the equator on the spring and fall equinoxes. Now, if you look at the picture in Master B, they're using the equatorial plane, a flat surface, to get their elevation angles.
Talking of which, Paula says in there that apparently Mactoon is in the Discord server.
Okay, well, we'll have to get to him after I round out this live show. So with that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G Plus panels for making today's live show possible. Of course, a massive thank you to all of you in the Nathan Oakley 1980 live stream for smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and all that good stuff. Also, below this video, you can get £50 for swapping your UK electricity supplier to Octopus Energy, and this is of particular note if you drive an electric vehicle. I've been Nathan Oakley. Stay tuned if you're watching on a premiering stream, and I will see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!